It's a new month, November. We got through October, although I feel like up until about 3 minutes ago, it felt like it was going to be a rough November as well.
A rough November. Come on now.
Just technology-wise and all the latest and greatest information that we've learned about today from the jobs report. Welcome, Richard.
Welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. I got one number. Can I say this number? 12,000. And we won't brag about it later on. 12,000? Really?
That's lame.
That's freaking lame. We just going to jump into it now.
Yeah, let's just do it. Well, let's still say, hello, everyone. We know it's been a minute. It's been a very busy October for both of us. In fact, we were ships in the night many times. Unfortunately, you were even here in Phoenix this past week, and we were not able to connect, which I'm devastated about. I blame tacos. I never thought they would betray me, but they did. And it caused me to not be able to see my dear friend here, Rick.
That's okay.
Shark Rosner.
I got to tell you something. Your fajitas in Arizona, I ate there 3 times, this Mexican restaurant. It was hunks of like beef, and I love my steak. I was like, I'm coming back every day. And by the end, they called me Shark. Like, Shark's back again. I'm like, this meal's freaking badass. It was $20 and it was real steak. So no offense to anybody on the East Coast, but this place was like just crushing it with the steak. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, we do know tacos. We're pretty good at that. I would say we're much better at tacos than the U.S. economy was with adding jobs in the month of October.
Can I just go in and go like this? Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Okay, so off stage we talked. I do save every contact. Anybody in my life. I have 11,000 contacts. So I'm only 1,000 short from the job report for the whole country. Are we like freaking kidding me? Like 12,000 people is all we got hired? Like that's not even a high school stadium. You know that for a game.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not. That's actually a great point. My goodness.
So where's it come? Go ahead, Amy.
No, go right ahead.
No, so I got a rant about this. So they said 44,000 from Boeing, which it's what happens when you got unions and everything else involved. You know what happens, us on the contract side, we're totally different. So, but I got to just tell you, then they said a storm. When the storm came, but you know what? It hits parts, but we had so much more of the country. I mean, we had another 40 states that never got affected. So I don't know what's going on here. So, I mean, just 12,000, that tells you the market is so low right now. I'm going to tell you. And I got to tell you this, just from my experience, I've internal in the last 2 months, probably have 54 people internal in the staffing recruiting industry reach out to me for jobs. They lost their jobs. Yeah. So what do you think?
Well, I think the thing that confounds me about it is where, we talked about this before, and I don't purport to be an economist. I'm an armchair expert, if that. I just don't understand where the disconnect is, because everywhere I go, it says hiring. So what's the problem? Like, where are we missing the mark here? And from a staffing lens, like, where are we failing our fellow humans, our fellow Americans when it comes to hiring, but also what's going on the hiring side? Like, what's happening? Everybody's hiring, but no one's actually hiring. Is it performative? Is it ghosts? Is it to make it seem like things are great and they're really not? Because everywhere I go, I just continually see where there's clearly not enough staff. There's now hiring signs everywhere. And yet, why are people unable to find a job? Or why are we only adding 12,000 purportedly, because they even say it might go down, 12,000 new jobs to the ranks? Like, what's going on? Where's the gap?
All right,
here?
You want the facts? Oh yeah, I got the facts.
Straight from the top. I can handle the truth. I want the truth.
Well, I'm going to tell everybody the truth out there. And we went to these conferences, and we'll talk about that later. But the facts are that everybody's hiring. The rate is not up to what the economy is. They're going to give you a certain figure in a salary, and then you got health care on top of that. Then you got groceries, and you got gas. You might as well just stay at home. Seriously, everybody's hiring, but we hire, but we only do partial health care. We don't have anything for daycare. I might as well just stay at home. And I have people say that. I might as well just stay at home and just do nothing. I mean, so that's where we're at. This economy is so bad right now. I got to tell you, I drop about $1,500 a month just on myself to eat. Can you imagine that, kids? I mean, seriously, that's eating. Now, if I want Roman noodles and SpaghettiOs, then I can live off like $100 a month.
Yeah. Yeah. But the shark don't eat that way.
I'd be in the hospital. You know that, by the way. Hospital or
Yeah.
bathroom. Shouldn't say it that way, but
Yeah.
seriously, I mean, who eats SpaghettiOs for $1 a can? Come on. Unless you're in college, right? But no, that's where we're at now. Even like restaurants, they're so short on staff. We're talking like waitresses, waiters, cooks, everywhere. We're short on staff. And people said, I can't live off tips now because I get taxed on my tips right now. And they don't make enough. Nobody can tip like they can anymore. Like 20% doesn't cover anything anymore.
Yeah. So how do we fix this? Is it a matter of pricing of goods and services? Like, again, where's the gap? I understand that the wages aren't where they need to be in order to keep up with, the cost of goods today, the cost of living, the cost of existing, right, today. So where is the rub? Are the wages too low? Meaning, are they not set at a reasonableness? Are companies trying to be a little bit too profit hungry? Like, where's the disconnect? What am I? I just feel like I'm missing something, and I don't feel like anybody's asking these questions. Or, we read all these reports, and they're just like, "Well, here it is," and I'm like, "Yeah, but why? Why is this beyond the surface level? Oh, there was a strike, there were hurricanes, and."
All excuses all the time.
Whatever.
We know, we got people in North Carolina. We pray for all of them and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, in our industry, everybody's saying, well, we hope another day. We keep saying hope. Stop the hope shit, guys. There's the facts are here. Come on the street with me every day and talk to these companies. They're giving you the best rate they can. Amy, they're not ripping anybody off. They're just keeping up because they have overhead too. Healthcare is out of control. Could you imagine having a company and have 10,000 people and you have to pay for healthcare, like a portion of it? And then, it doesn't even make sense. Then on top of that, for people that are looking for a job, you got car insurance, you got everything, electric's up, everything is up. So at the end of the day, you have $50 after you work 40 hours to survive on. That's where we're at. So I think to fix this, the root of the thing is, we just the economy has been sinking. And I think since COVID, we've just kept pushing the buck, kept pushing like, it'll get better. And it's just, as you can see, the decline has truly hit like 2.5, 3 years later. And we're like a rock bottom. I'm not gonna lie. 12,000. We haven't had that since 2020. You know that.
Yeah.
4 years.
All right. So what's the silver lining? What's the new hope? Richard, beyond hope, what's the actual change? If we're going to say we can hope, but what are we going to change? What needs to change beyond just saying the economy needs to get better? Like, what, from your lens, again, we are not economists, but from your lens, you are talking to people every day. You are deep in your community. You are looking at this information much more deeply than I am. From a staffing lens, I'm more the armchair. I'm like the color commentator, I feel like, at this point. But what needs to be done? What change needs to happen in order for this to shift, for the tides to shift?
Wow, here we go. So I think we need to, our trade with other countries. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's the start. We have to do that. We have to do a lot more production in our hometown, our home state, local business. I'm going to tell you what, I had a staffing firm in a local small town. You know how many stipulations and contracts and going back and forth, they make it so hard for like small business to survive. I'm going to tell you this straight up off the streets. So my friends have small business cupcake shops. They got to get inspected every month. It's like the big dogs are there. But besides that, you got the big ones. Of course, we know who they are, the monopoly of the 10 companies that rule the state and the country, but the small ones don't. So that trickles down to everything. So how do we fix this? We got to go from the top down. You could talk about the administration. You could talk about the people. I think we need to revamp the whole way that we do taxes with the companies. I should say this. I said this after COVID. We shouldn't be taxed at all for that last year. Nobody should have been taxed at all. A lot of states have no state tax. How come every state don't have state tax? I'm in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You might as well forget that, man. They're taking every hour I work, there's $10. You make $10 an hour. They take 5 out just for themselves. Yeah. It's like, but people's like, we're at the point now where people don't know where to go. Amy, they're panicking. And it's not just job seekers. It's business owners. It's everybody. And nobody ever talks about it. I mean, even in our industry, we keep saying, oh, we got to talk about emotions and all that stuff. The facts are here, my friends. If you get out on the streets and ask these job seekers, go ask HR. You know what? And we keep blaming the companies that they're money hungry. They're not. They got nothing left. Yeah, you have some that might be making a profit, but at the end, a lot, dollars and cents at the end, you watch what they have at the end. Nothing like they did 4 years ago. Barely much because of healthcare and everything else is just rising. Products. Even if you produce something, that stuff comes from somewhere. You have to pay extra for that, right? Metal, coal, all that stuff. I mean, I don't know where we begin because, to be honest with you, we have to start. There's so many. We all need to work together on this because it's not, it's not even just blaming administration. It's been going on for like the last 10 years, and now we're hitting it now.
Yeah.
And you don't blame anybody. It's something where we all have to dig in.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
Dude, we're all in this.
There's no white knight coming to save us. Like, there's no one person that can resolve this. It is something that collectively we have to agree to address together, I think, is the bottom line. And that may lead to some discomfort beyond what we're experiencing today. But it's like, just like in our personal lives, we have to go on a little bit of a budget here, right? And also reevaluate what's going where we're spending our time, money, resources, energy, because you're right. There's like, what's left to do to try to resolve this beyond just throwing your hands up and going, well, okay, here we go. It is what it is. I promise it'll get better. It's not.
We keep saying promise over and over, and even like savings. All my friends and I know people I just talked to, they're blowing all their savings. People say, how are they still coming out to eat and stuff? They're just thinking that, tomorrow might never come, I mean, we're in that scary stage right now. And in staffing, we keep riding that wave. And then we'll deep dive into it. But, I just think at the end of the day, this job report is pretty pathetic. I mean, I got to tell you straight up, and these job reports, I'm going to tell you, Amy, I say this all the time, take them for a grain of salt. At the end of the day, I mean, we know these numbers have been going back and forth, inflated. It's like going to Vegas. You don't know what number you're going to get. They just throw you a number. But this must be a factual number because they didn't inflate this one for sure. This is, I mean, if they did inflate it, maybe they did inflate it, Amy. Maybe they inflated it from 6,000 to 12.
I mean, possibly, but I think you're right. At the end of the day, it's not so much the number, it's the meaning. Like we talked about weeks ago, it's the meaning behind the metrics. It's not the metric itself. It's what this is implying, what this is telling us. What is the signal that this is giving that is like a bat signal in the air that we need to respond to and take action on? Like, what is it? I mean, there's, like I said, the numbers don't add up from my lens. And again, not an economist, not an expert in this, but I look at number of openings versus number of jobs. And I'm like, that seems like a real easy thing to reconcile.
Yeah.
Why isn't it happening? And I think it's some of the things like the costs, but are there practical things though that job seekers or job fillers can do to try to help optimize this? Are we taking too long? Are we expecting too much? Are we, you know what I mean? Like what can we do to try to help stop the bleeding here a little bit more from a practical level, knowing it's not going to be the silver bullet. It's not going to solve all of the problems, but what is a small step? What's a small step that people can do to try to maybe just shift where things are going?
I think one of the things is, I'm going to tell you straight up, is gas. If we can lower gas, I think people can get to work and save money that way. But people looking for jobs, Amy, I mean, we could talk to this. I mean, even the ramp up periods. I mean, I used to deal with the big companies, you know what I mean? You talk about the Amazons and FedEx and all them. They ramp up during the holidays. You ask anybody out there in light industrial, the ramp up is not like it was in 2016. We used to put like 200 people to work for the holiday seasonal work.
Yeah.
But then what happens here is nobody wants to take that seasonal work because that messes their benefits up if they're still unemployed or something. It could mess a lot of stuff up. See what I mean? I have people right now saying, oh, I'm not going to take that because then I won't get no health care. I'm getting it right now from the state. Thank God. They work that whole week or that whole month. Guess what? Their salary's here. They could lose that. Then they have nothing.
Yeah.
So they're like taking the gamble of like, I can't have. So a lot of these ramp ups are not happening this year. Even last year, I got to tell you this, bro. This is a funny story. Santa Claus. We had a shortage on Santa Clauses last year. I can't make that up. For the mall, Santa Clauses. Seriously. If there's a shortage on St. Nick, then what's going on? Tell me.
All right. So not the best news. Feeling a little dejected.
Yes.
You know, I think a call to action is for all of every stakeholder in this situation, be it candidate, client, staffing firm, government, whatever it is. I feel like my challenge to all of them is to think about one thing. What is one thing that you could take action on, say, in the next 3 months, by the end of the year, right? Like, what's one thing by the end of the year that you could do that could help address some of this matter? Because there are things that we can do. It just might require an uncomfortable conversation. It might require challenging. You know, I talk about this from a change perspective all the time with organizations. I'm like, the only way you're going to innovate is if you're willing to challenge what is, if you're willing to get comfortable with calling your sacred cows, your this is how we've always done it, the what's gotten us here this far, we don't want to change, we want to just keep doing what we're doing. That is not going to, you're not going to innovate in any way. To adopt an innovative mindset and to create real transformation in your business, in your life, in the economy, it requires some hard conversations, some hard questions that challenge what you're doing and why, and what can you do next to make a difference.
I love what you said, Aaron. Before we go on to the next subject, that's one thing you have to talk to the candidate client about, healthcare and all that. I think so many times now, Amy, we don't talk about that. What's, you know, you get $25 an hour and they push you in there. You got to say, do you have a family? And that's why they ghost you and they don't show up for work the first day, peeps, because you didn't lay everything out there. Lay it all out there. Put it almost on them like, hey, can you get to work all the time? You know, gas, do you have a premium car with, 93 octane in it? You got to ask these questions these days. And when you get to know that, they're going to work with you. They're going to say, dog, I can't afford gas to go 22 miles every day. And then companies, on the other hand, have to stop this like block. I hate these block hours where they're like, you work every other weekend. People don't want that anymore. I mean, I hate to say it, but we should go like the UK, the 4-day work week. They do in other countries. I mean, it works. What do you think? Can it work here? I don't know.
It could, but again, it requires thinking differently. It requires changing how you do what you do, how services are delivered, how work is defined. I would even take it one step further. I think we need to get creative with how we fill this work. And I'm not necessarily saying make everybody gig, because that can be kind of a scam in some ways. You know, it's like people end up poorer than when they started doing gig work. But treat it from that type of mentality, a project-based, needs-based mentality. I talk about this with healthcare clients all the time, where, they're like, we're really struggling to fill this job. And I'm like, well, what if you, instead of trying to fill a 12-hour shift, can you have a conversation with the client? Like, can you take someone for 3 hours? What about 5 hours? Can we be creative? Can we split this up? Can we meet people where they're at and yet still ensure that the job is being filled, is being fulfilled, knowing that not everybody can or wants to, commit to a set time? Like, can we work with that? Can we be creative? Yes, we can. We all had Lego blocks when we were growing up. We knew how to stack the Legos. Treat it like Legos. Fill the job, fill the need, fill the project, fill the whatever it looks like. Treat it like pieces of Legos and and then create the structure, create the opportunity that allows everybody to do what they can, provide what they need, but do it in a way that's a little bit flexible. I know that to some people it might be like, oh, that's silly, but it's like, it's not if you just change the way you think about it. If you just 100%. Challenge what is and just try something different. What if you tried something different? What would that mean?
Well,
it's not the end of the world. I always say try it and adjust.
Challenges equals change, adapt equals achieve. I say this all the time. I got to tell you, in the United States, we don't like to change. People do not like to change in our area. I mean, it's wild how we are in a big,
not staffing.
Well, we got all this going on with the economy. Then we got AI coming at us. Then we got, electric cars. We got everything flying us so quick. there is more change in the last 5 years than we've had in a whole, like in the last century. You know what I mean, Amy? So it's like,
Yeah.
and I don't think we can adapt to it all now. I mean, can we all take it in? This is why, we're going to tie into the conference about like emotional stuff now that, people are like, there's so much on them. Can they handle it? Or are they going to just break down, And that's where we're at. I think a lot of the country is broken. We're mentally, we're physically and mentally, we're just broken.
Yeah, we're over it.
We're over it. And we keep saying, we see this report and we see other stuff. And we're like, when's it going to get better? I mean, we just had these big storms. I mean, you live in Florida now, you're getting a hurricane, 7 times a year now?
Yeah.
It's like, or more. So it's like, when is this all going to come back to where we can just like, wow. I mean, but it's one where we're going to have to adapt to. This is the way the environment is now. This is what's going on.
We're going to have to, not to be, well, I'll say it this way. We're going to have to do the things that are uncomfortable. And at this current state of our society, of our economy, of our discourse, that's going to require you to actually reach across the aisle and have come together to create something better. It's not all on one. Again, there is no one party. There's no one person who is going to magically wave a wand and save this. It has to be something that we have to do collectively together, or else we're doomed. So that's my 2 cents on it. Stop being so stubborn about who's right and who's wrong, and let's actually just try to make something better for everybody going forward.
You summed that up very well. So staffing peeps, if you're out there, we all have to do it together, and just, I'm going to leave it on this note here. Imagine John Lennon's song, keep playing it over and over again. Great song, by the way. But no, all joking aside, it is.
Or We Didn't Start the Fire from Billy Joel. Whichever one you're feeling. But yeah. So on that note, we talk about change, and I would say one thing that hasn't changed is that every fall, basically for 6 weeks, starting in mid-September, all of a sudden it becomes conference extravaganza. Every single organization. That's one thing I would challenge. Y'all need to talk to each other and spread out these conferences a little bit more.
Okay.
Why are they all in the fall? Can we have some in the spring and in the winter, somewhere tropical? I don't know.
This conference season's got to stop because it's wearing the shark down. Even me with energy, I'm going to tell you, Amy, it's a off thing. 2 conferences back to back. I was home for 12 hours and then flew back. So I've flown probably 5,000 miles in the last 2 weeks. It's like, seriously, and I'm even wore down. Just let y'all know.
It took a lot to convince you to be here today. I know earlier you were like,
I'm like,
I just want to go to bed.
And all I can say is all my friends out there, when I say I was on a red eye, they're like, dude, I'm too old for that. And I straight up, I'm going to say right now, I am too old for that shit. Red eyes, I cannot do them anymore. Even me, I'm like, this red eye from Phoenix to Pittsburgh and sitting in Boston for 2 hours. I mean, I've never taken a nap in the airport, and I was like down for like 2 hours. Like the coffee didn't even kick me. The Dunkin' coffee at Boston, I said, give me an espresso. I drink 32 ounces. I'm like, this stuff's just like water. Give me something else. So, but about conference season, let's jump into staffing world. It was probably one of the biggest staffing worlds for hype and excitement that I've seen in a long time, Amy. It was great. Of course, I did a tailgate with Advanced Partners and Kendra and all of them. We rocked it out. It was exciting. We'll have it. Just let everybody know. Tailgate's coming back in next year in Orlando.
Maybe not October. I don't know. Think about another date.
I know. Well, they're having it in October. It's already October. The first week of October is when Staffing World is. So it's already. But I just got to say, it was a lot of good vibes in Nashville. A lot of good topics. AI was up there, tech stack kind of fade away as more AI. But the thing that hit it all, and we talked about this off, is emotional intelligence, a lot of psychological stuff, how to overcome, how to talk to candidates the right way, clients, emotional selling. That was a big topic that I got. I did a panel with the industrial section, and we were like doctors. I had a lab coat on, felt good, So I got my doctoral in staffing. Just I got my doctoral in staffing in 45 minutes. You believe that shit? Had the scope around me. I'm thinking, can I blow in this thing? It's pretty badass, I was like, dude. And I put the glasses on for the picture to make me look intelligent. I was like, man, Dr. Sharp.
So on your panel, what prescription did you write for the attendees? What is their RX that they need to start to take
So
in
it was,
order? What hard pill do they have to start swallowing
ooh,
to fix the problems of the day?
it was great because our panel, it was like every table we had them to do a solution. So they were like the surgeons and they had like 40 minutes to get together and all that. Some of the stuff is the ghosting of cells, the ghosting of the candidate we talked about, the time it takes to place somebody. So we did a lot of surgical. And I think we come to the conclusion that, we have to be open and transparent. Everybody talked about that, to heal up that wound. You have to be transparent. You can't just walk away from it. Then it's going to keep bleeding and the person's going to die. So that's what we came about. By the way, just let you know, you might be part of this. I thought about another podcast called Staffing ER. How about that? Amy, you still
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. I'll try to play the George Clooney part. Can I do that? But it was a great time. I got to tell you what, it was, like I said,
100%.
a lot of good topics. One thing that I do like, and they're going to keep doing this every year, is the roundtables. Get all the audience interactive and like doing, solutions and, role playing and all that stuff. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So the big thing was being a good fellow human to your other humans that you're working with. That sounded like the big one. And also, along with that, learning how to navigate the sea of change and uncertainty that we are continually up against, and to do it with resilience, with courage, with confidence, with tenacity, being able to show up well so that way you can serve and be supported well.
You summed it up with passion. Everything we talk about passion, we'll bring that passion out to everybody else too. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, the down there, the conference with all the tech companies, the expo was amazing. Amy, 177 different exhibitors, 177 this year. It was packed. And I want to say about 30 that are newcomers in the space for AI. So there is so much AI going on right now to accelerate the candidate and all that stuff. Great stuff. But I think a lot of the talk was the human connection. We talk about what I talked about 20 years ago is keep coming back. Peeps, we should never lose the human connection. We shouldn't even have a conversation on the human connection ever. Seriously, open your mouth. That's what the connection's about right there. Am I right?
Yeah.
Why do we have to have a presentation on how to be human? Duh. I was like, what the hell?
Because we can get distracted by all of the technology and all of the purported silver bullets to our foundational people struggles
Silver
that we
bullet
have within our organizations.
That just sounds good right now. It's a Coors Light, right? I don't drink it, but after this show, I need a silver bullet, right?
I would say yes. I think it's been quite a last few weeks. I know we want to touch more on this over time, but I think the biggest things are have the hard conversations, maybe reach across the aisle, come together, find ways that collectively all stakeholders can help design, treat it like a Manhattan Project, bring all the best minds together to try to solve it. And don't forget to be kind and clear and supportive to your fellow humans, because we're all going through this together.
Love everybody, like I always say. And every time I do a presentation, even at the end, I always say, I love you all. Seriously, I do.
Yeah.
Now let's just jump on naps. Can we have a little bit of time for naps? So Phoenix, got a couple minutes?
Got 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, real quick. Naps was incredible. In Phoenix, out there at the Wigwam. One thing that I kind of suggested, and we did, we had music playing the whole time, 80s music. After every session in the hallway, it was pumping. So any conference out there, I'll give you a tip. Instead of them going to the room, they're hearing Billy Joel, they're hearing whoop, there it is. They come right back into another presentation and then the music stops. It was great. It was great. Just, the 80s party was insane. I did sing Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer. After 2 Johnny Walkers, I got up there. I crushed it with some girl. I can't remember what I sang, but it was good. But we had a good time. So naps was very good. I think they all had a different flavor of each, but they all come back to one thing: the human connection and being kind to everybody.
Yeah. Well, Richard, thank you. I think you've earned a silver bullet. I think the Rockies are calling. You've earned the silver bullet.
It's a pumpkin beer tonight. One more pumpkin beer out of them. But hey, Amy, thank you so much. At the end of the day, guys, remember, we're not here to rant, nothing like that. We're just giving you the facts. At the end of the day, to open your eyes up And these are the facts right now we have to deal with this October report, which you're going to hear over and over on the media. Don't get too startled. Remember, at the end of the day, we do it together as a team. Is that it?
We're good.
All right. We're out of here. We'll see you next week. Remember, StaffingMania. Whoa! Let's get it. Week, guys. Take care.